Ina.
Hi. Let me just get my camera all set. I never know how it's going to end up.
Oh,
It's way too close.
and no, you're fine. And I love your curly hair as always.
Is it curly enough?
No, it's Ina. I really like this look on you.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, it's I don't know how to blow dry my hair look.
Yeah.
So, that's it. You do very well.
I blew out my hair. I just did it, and it's easier when it's longer. I think you can kind of.
Mine's not easy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So let me just set this up so I'm at least in the frame. You look great. You look gorgeous as always. Is that better?
Should we lower this?
Look what you have there. I like that.
How fun. And by the way, as I was gathering them, I noticed this one when I had a dog named Maisie, who's since gone to the great doggy Maisie enjoyed your book too.
It probably had food all over it. So Maisie was like, is this good to eat?
Family style. And of course, your latest one is Modern Comfort Food, right? No, wait.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm excited because I not only want to talk to you, Ina, about this delicious cocktail, but, I did this last week with your #1 fan, Jen Garner, who's so
Is she adorable?
Who doesn't?
But also smart and just so extraordinary. Huge heart, just wonderful woman.
Just oozes goodness, and I love her too. And but Jen and I were talking.
I'm taking my scarf off. I'm hot, and I haven't even started drinking yet.
We're talking. She was telling me some of the recipes she made from your book for Thanksgiving. So I also thought it would be fun for people watching to maybe mention some of your favorite recipes from all your different cookbooks, because she was raving about your turkey gravy.
Oh yeah, it's great because you actually make it ahead. It's in Make It Ahead, and it's the turkey that you make ahead, and the gravy that you make ahead, and the stuffing that you can prep and just throw into the oven. It's a bread pudding instead of stuffing. Yeah, that's a good one.
That
has
sounds
a little cherry in it.
Christmas dinner this year. Sometimes I kind of cheat and call it a caterer.
I can understand that.
This year,
it's not like you don't have anything else to do.
Myself, so I'm very excited, and I'm excited to use your recipes. So, but let's make the Cosmo, right?
Okay. Well, I have it all made. Are you making it?
I'm making it. So I thought maybe you could. I'm going to move you some of your books.
Okay.
I thought you could instruct me.
Are you in New York or you're in New York, aren't you?
I'm in. No, I'm right
Are you
in
in East Hampton. Okay, so first
street.
It's literally down, so near and yet so far.
So here we go. I brought we have all the ingredients. Let me just lower it so everyone can see. You should lower the phone a little bit because I want everyone to see how you make this. And here, hold on.
Thank you everybody for those incredible comments, by the way. That was really lovely.
Well, you know what? Everyone, everything's better with Ina. What can I say?
Well, it's more fun anyway.
I'm going to go like this, Ina, and I'll be in the frame like this. We're going to move your books. Everybody buy Ina's books. They're awesome.
Thank you, Katie.
And
by the time you get to it, you're going to need a cocktail.
Okay. So I chilled the glass. Is that right?
That's great. Yep. Or you can put it in the freezer. Either one.
And then I have my ice bucket here, which was my mom's. So it's special.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah. I have a shaker. And
Perfect.
I come to Mama. I have the pitcher. I put this. We bought Negroni. Is that right?
Orange liqueur.
Oh, orange liqueur.
Yeah.
And have some cranberry juice.
Perfect. Okay. And you have Plum Wonderful. Okay. So
you
need a cup of vodka. How much are you planning on drinking? And lime slices. You are ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need, I did a half a recipe. I mean, you might need more than that, but I did a half a recipe.
Well,
and that makes a lot.
So I said, I'd say there are 3 of us here. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think a half a recipe would make 3 cocktails, unless you think somebody's going to have 2.
Okay. So one each is fine.
Okay.
Ina.
So you need a cup of vodka.
Okay. And
I like ordering Katie Couric around. Did you measure that accurately?
I did. It's a cup. I did.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Put it in the pitcher.
In the pitcher. Yep.
Okay. Oops. Okay.
And you don't want to spill any. And then you need a half a cup of, I'm going from memory because I just, half a cup of, the orange liqueur,
Okay.
whichever you have.
Okay.
It could be,
Is that okay?
what is it?
Negroni?
Negroni? No, that's not Negroni. I don't know. Is that orange liqueur?
Yeah, it says it's from Corsica. It's Mandarin liqueur.
Oh, sounds great.
Okay. Half a
Wait.
cup?
I don't know. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm not sure. I have to go look at the recipe. Do you have the recipe?
It says half a cup.
Okay, half a cup.
Okay. Adriana is here. She'll help us.
'Cause I
Okay.
think you need a,
Okay.
yeah, okay. Half a cup right in the pitcher. Half a cup of cranberry juice.
Half a cup of cream.
Cranberry juice. And it's cranberry juice cocktail, so it's not just plain cranberry juice. It has a sweetener in it.
Yeah, it's cocktail.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Half a cup.
Okay. I hope everybody's watching.
This is what they call on TV, dump and stir. Okay, quarter of a cup of pomegranate juice.
Okay.
Palm Wonderful, yeah. I love that. I love that. And it's good for you. So like you're drinking cocktails and it's good for you, right?
Full of antioxidants.
Exactly. And a quarter of a cup of freshly squeezed lime juice. Did you get somebody to squeeze lime? No.
Yeah.
Is it freshly squeezed?
We didn't do that, so we're just gonna.
Okay, you'll just go for it and see if it makes a difference.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it.
Now, then do you
Stir
put
it up.
in the shaker?
Yeah, stir it up and then pour it into the shaker with ice.
Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna put the ice in the shaker. Okay. I'm gonna
Okay.
around.
And then you pour the mixture in.
Okay. I may have to do, but this will be good.
Okay, and while you do that, I'm going to get a frozen glass. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, okay?
Okay, I'll shake it. And I think Stanley Tucci taught me how to do this. Not to name drop or anything, but what can I say, you guys? So I'm shaking it. I've really gotten into doing drinks this way with a shaker. It's so fun, and there's something kind of.
It's fun. And also, what's important is if you shake it for like 30 seconds, it not only chills it, but it also dilutes it. So it ends up being perfect. Otherwise, it's too, okay. Hers and her shakers.
I made a cocktail with Stanley Tucci.
Oh, you did?
Who's so dreamy.
Isn't
Call it Boss Man. And he taught me this. Hold on.
What'd you make? I'm pouring mine.
It had Campari in it. A Negroni.
A Negroni, yeah. I would imagine Stanley Tucci drinks Negronis.
Yeah, it was a Negroni, and he had me put it in something called a croup. Is that a kind of glass?
What's a croup?
I'll show you. Hold on.
Okay. I like the way Katie and I just keep leaving, but I'm still here. Katie, your house looks gorgeous. I like your tree.
Okay.
What's a croup?
Like this. This was my grandmother's, and it's kind of.
A coupe.
Oh, is that what
It's a coupe. Yeah, it's a coupe. It's like a champagne coupe. Exactly.
But you have and you can't, and you cough
It's
a lot.
gorgeous.
Okay.
Maybe
Anyway,
somebody knew it was a coupe.
soup, Ina.
That's great. Cheers, Katie. Stay
Cheers.
healthy. Stay safe.
Because then it becomes more festive. Don't.
Yep. I have one in the bottom. It's sunk.
Oh, you did? Okay, hold on.
Perfect.
Well, Cheers.
Cheers. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Happy New
2020
Year.
comes soon enough. That's delicious.
It's good, isn't it?
It's so good.
Okay. Yeah. And it's good for you.
Good.
Antioxidant cocktail.
So, have any big Christmas plans? Are you going to be
You
staying?
know, every year we go to Paris, and I just, I'm like at 6 and 7s, I don't know what to do with myself. So I think we're just going to see what happens. Maybe I'll roast it, I'll make a fabulous dinner. I don't know. We'll see. It's just us. That's the two of us. Who do you have for Christmas?
Well, Carrie, my daughter, will be here, and Ellie, I think, will be here. Possibly her fiance, Mark.
Wow.
And of course, Molnar will be here, and I'm hoping John's kids come out. But we're trying to figure it out and make sure everyone stays safe. But it's going to be a very small group, and that's okay. I think that we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and we all have so much to be grateful for. So I feel like, we can get through this.
I think it would be such a shame to get sick now, because as you said, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but unfortunately it's gotten worse before it's going to get better. So I really want everybody to just stay safe. It's so important. And for a long time we could meet outside. We can, at a big table, and I had heaters, so I could invite my friends over and we could be 6 feet apart and have just everything from a great dinner to a pizza. But the last couple of days it's gotten a little cold for that. We tried it, but it was like, oh my God, I'm so cold.
But it was gorgeous today. And
today was gorgeous.
And nice. What are you going to cook for Christmas dinner this year?
I don't know. I'm testing recipes for the next book, so I'm thinking I'll use that as an excuse to make I'm working on a ham with what's the glaze on it? With an orange marmalade glaze, which is really good together. That sweet and bitter kind of thing is good.
Right.
And for Thanksgiving, I made a spatchcock turkey, and I was thinking of doing it like a sheet pan dinner. Spatchcock turkey with all kinds of vegetables, like autumn vegetables, and maybe even some toasted bread, like raisin pecan bread. So it feels like an entire Thanksgiving dinner on a sheet pan. So I don't know. I'll play around with it. See what.
Is that recipe in any of your books?
No, I'm working on it. I'm working the next book.
Well, if you want to give us that sounds really delicious.
And what's amazing about a spatchcock turkey? If you have the butcher cut it, it's very thin. It's not like a whole big turkey, and it cooks in like an hour and a half. So it's really moist, and it's just delicious. I did it for Thanksgiving. It was really good, and you just do a dry rub on it. So I'll work on it. I'll send you the recipe for testing. How's that?
Would love to have the recipe too. And what do you think you'll do for dessert? Do you think you'll do your Boston cream pie that you finally perfected?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a Christmas dessert, wouldn't you say? And it's, it's a little bit of a process to make, because there's cake, there's pastry cream, there's orange soak that, an orange like syrup that you soak into the cake, and then there's the chocolate. But you can make them all a day or two in advance. So I do a few pieces at a time and then assemble it, on Christmas. So yeah, I think Boston cream pie is probably it. I have to make it for you sometimes. It's really good.
I keep looking at it. It makes my mouth water. Have you ever made a Noel?
Oh yeah, we used to make them at the store. We used to make so many we'd make like 50 of them. And I was always terrified that I would miscount and I'd be one short.
Hold on 2 seconds. We have a lot of questions from from all your followers and all your fans. Okay.
Oh, I love you both. That's good.
Here we go. Sorry. Can you say, by the way, someone asked what book is this recipe in? So
Back to Basics. I think it's in Back to Basics. Everybody should know this, because I use it all the time, is if you go to my website, there's a combined recipe list. So every once in a while, I'm like, what book is that recipe in? So you can just put it on favorites, and it takes you right to the recipes and the combined index, and it just tells you.
What's the website on?
It's barefootcontessa.com.
Okay.
And it has combined. You can put anything in. You can put dessert in. You can put Boston cream pie in. You can put a cocktail in. It'll tell you where it is. Here, I'm going to put in.
For everybody who wanted to know what it was. Okay, let me just run through some social media questions.
Okay.
Because I point your fan, Dinah.
And yours too.
Can you suggest a few fun, somewhat unique, simple apps, I'm assuming appetizers, to make for Christmas Eve?
I'm just going to answer the last question, and then I'll tell you in a second. It's in Back to Basics.
Okay, back to basics.
This Cosmopolitan, yeah. Simple apps for Christmas Eve. Let's see. Well, you know what I have in this? A very southern thing is pimento cheese spread. And I thought, I want to revisit that because they're usually pretty boring. So I made a new one. It's in Modern Comfort Food. It's really good. And the other thing that's in there is a spinach, like a warm spinach dip. That's so good. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Do you want to share appetizers now, though? Everybody has to have their own little gratin dish with a spinach dip in it, so you're not sharing appetizers.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're living with them, that's okay.
That too. But I love pimento cheese, and you know what? I mean, I don't know why, but I even like those weird cheese balls that are covered in pecans.
Yeah. Well, you know, what we love is what we used to have when we were kids, and that's probably what. Did your mother used to make them?
Yeah.
I mean, not to be sexist, but I assume it was your mother that did the cooking.
Yeah, and I think
that era.
Not being sexist, my dad, I don't think knew how to boil water, but had that whisk spread cheese in the crock that had wine in it.
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly right. That has to go in my next book.
What is the difference between baking with unsalted butter or salted butter?
You know, people ask me this. I use unsalted butter because each butter has a different content of salt in it. And so in order to, say, add a teaspoon of salt, I need to know how much salt is already in it. So unsalted butter allows me to know that it's just butter and not salt. And then when I add it, so if you're using salted butter, just kind of back off the salt a little bit and make sure that it's right. So
okay.
That's the only. And I also find salted butter, salt is a preservative. So I always assume the unsalted butter has to be fresher because they have to move it faster. So I have this thing about salted butter.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Do you get into cooking ruts, and what is the out?
Cooking ruts. What's the way out?
Yeah.
I think the way out, yes, I definitely do. So starting with roast chicken. It's the easiest dinner you can possibly make. And it's just so delicious. So whatever vegetables are around, I just throw it in with the chicken with lemon and thyme and garlic and in the oven. I think the best thing is to find somebody's cookbooks that you love and just go through. If they're gorgeous photographs, just like you said, the Boston cream pie, you just keep looking at it. I mean, find something that looks delicious, that really appeals to you, and then make that. I think that's a good way out of it. That's what I kind of do, even with my own books.
Someone asked in the comments, what is your favorite baking chocolate? Interesting.
Well, I use different kinds of chocolate. There's unsweetened chocolate, but mostly I use bittersweet. I like the combination of like the sweet and bitter chocolate. And it's interesting because recently we did, I know this is a tough job, but I do it. We had a chocolate tasting because I've always used Lindt chocolate when I bake, bittersweet chocolate that comes in big bars. You can order it on Amazon. And I thought, I've been using it for so long, I should really make sure that that's still the one that I like best. So we went to the store and we bought every kind of chocolate you could find in bittersweet. And we had a blind taste testing here. And we all agreed we still like the Lindt the best.
The Lindt chocolate.
Lindt chocolate.
I grew up with Baker's chocolate.
Yeah, well, that doesn't have any salt. That's unsalted. I mean, unsweetened. So
yeah, that's
exactly.
In her, used because my mom passed away, but in her brownie recipe, we always used melted we'd melt the Baker's chocolate with butter, sugar, and then an egg, a couple of eggs, and then mix the flour and the nuts. And they're the best brownies. They're just
my brownie recipe has that too. I mean, it's just like that. Yeah, exactly.
so yummy. Someone asked in the comments your favorite Christmas cookie, Ina. Do you have a favorite Christmas cookie? Are they thumbprint or which are they?
Yeah, I think thumbprints. I love jam. I love raspberry jam and shortbread together. And I do all kinds of versions of it. So I make these Linzer cookies that are shortbread with raspberry jam in the middle. I make thumbprint cookies that have jam in the thumbprint. So yeah, that's my favorite combination. What's yours?
Well, gosh, I do like to decorate sugar cookies, but
Yeah.
usually I cheat and buy the slice and bake.
That's okay. As long as you like them, it doesn't matter.
I out, but they're pretty. And then we color, buttercream frosting, and it's sort of fun. I have a friend, Susan Lodge. I don't know if Susan's watching, but she and I and our daughters went to school together. So we used to always, around Christmas time, make Christmas cookies together with Ellie and Carrie and her daughter, Grace. But this year we can't do it, sadly. So maybe I'll try to roll them out and make proper sugar cookies. Do you have a good recipe for that?
Well, you make the shortbread from my first book. And actually what I do is I take that one basic dough, the shortbread cookies, I roll them out, and then I cut hearts, and the hearts I dip in chocolate, and then I make stars, and the stars I glaze with sanding sugar, and then I make the Linzer cookies out of it. I make wreaths that are drizzled with white chocolate and like dried cherries. So from one dough, you can make all different kinds of cookies.
Oh, I'm going to try that. You know
That's
what?
really, it's good.
They're called Mexican wedding cakes.
Oh, I love them. What Mexican wedding cookies? They just like melt in your mouth, right?
They are so good, where you roll them in the confectioner sugar and they have pecans.
Yeah, yeah, those are good.
Those are so.
Somebody just said they love my raspberry crumble bars, which are actually the shortbread dough, which you press into a pan, and then you put raspberry jam on it, and then you take the half of the dough gets pressed in the pan, the other half gets mixed with I think almonds and I can't remember now, and oatmeal, and you make a crumble topping. So from one dough, you've got the base of the shortbread cookie and then the top, and then you bake it and cut it in squares. That's a good one. You'd love that.
Yeah, that sounds delicious too.
Very Christmassy.
I have such a sweet tooth. I mean, a friend of mine delivered some chocolate chip cookies the other day. They were from a New York Times. Oh, my mic is cutting out. I'm sorry, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. From the New York Times. It had tahini in it, and they put a little sea salt on top. And honestly, they were so delicious.
Isn't that great?
But
isn't the New York Times app amazing? I just think it's amazing. I mean, they just have built this incredible, part of the New York Times. And I was actually talking to Julia Moskin, interviewed me. She came out here for a day. It was so much fun. And I asked her about it, and she said, what it used to be when I worked on the New York Times in the food section, people would be like, ugh, whatever. And now that the app has, the New York Times cooking app has basically saved the New York Times. Everybody's like, oh, you work on the New York Times cooking app. I think she's ahead of it, actually.
Awesome. My daughter Carrie
Fabulous.
cooking a lot during the pandemic, and she is using New York Times cooking app a lot. And I totally agree. Okay, hold on, Ina.
Okay.
Is this your favorite cocktail during the holidays? It appears it is.
It could be. It really just looks like the holidays, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I have to be honest, everyone watching, this is an incredibly tasty cocktail.
Thank you.
So I recommend it. Okay.
Thank you. And you can see it's really easy to make.
Yeah, it's
like dump and stir.
Feels fresh.
And drink.
What is your favorite classic holiday dish?
My favorite classic, for New Year's Eve, I always make something really simple because we won't be doing it this year, but Jeffrey and I usually have friends and we go to some great bar in Paris with a piano and we have cocktails and it's New Year's Eve.
Fun.
It's so fun. It's just so fun. But then I come back to the apartment and I have to make dinner in 5 minutes because everybody's, it's 11:30 and everybody expects dinner at that point.
Why make it ahead?
Well, it just doesn't seem to work. So my classic New Year's Eve dinner, which is you can make at home, is lemon capellini with caviar, and it's from my first book. And so I make the sauce, which is like 60 pounds of butter and, and lemon juice, and you put it in a pan, and then you cook capellini, which takes like 3 minutes to cook. And then you heat up the butter, you put the capellini in the butter, you toss it around, you serve it with a big dollop of caviar on it, and like it's New Year's Eve. It's just great.
Hey, nobody can complain about that. A little
Yeah, exactly.
caviar and pasta. You know, what's wrong with that?
Exactly.
Okay.
And you know, it's New Year's Eve, so you can splurge on it.
Yeah, that sounds good. What are some of your favorite kitchen products? Someone is looking for gifts to give who love to cook.
You know, there are two things that everybody, that very few people have in their kitchen that I use all the time. And I think they'd be a great gift to give somebody who's a cook. One is a ruler. Most people don't have a ruler in their kitchen. And so you take out a pan and you're like, I don't know, is this 9 by 12 or is this, 9 by 8? And so I'm always using a ruler. And also, recipe says to dice something a 1/2 inch. And I just always want to check and make sure I'm doing it right. So ruler is a great.
Wait, a ruler. Who knew?
Who knew you needed a ruler in your kitchen? And the other one is a kitchen scale. So if it calls for a pound of pasta and you get a package that has 2 pounds in it, I mean, you can gauge what a pound is, but it's nice to know exactly what a pound is. Or if you have a batter that makes 2 cakes, it's nice to know that it's evenly divided between the 2 cakes. So you don't have one big one and one little one. If you're making 2 cakes and giving them away, you want to be sure everybody gets the same cake.
That's great. What about zester? I know that you love lemon.
I love that. Yeah, I love the rasp zester. It's called a microplane. Because I always think that the peel of the citrus, the lime or lemon or something like that, has so much more flavor than the juice. So whenever I'm doing something with juice, I always zest the freshly grated zest.
One of our recipes of yours that we've been around here a number of times is your delicious lemon pasta.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the where you boil the cream and then you put the pasta in with lemon and arugula. Which one is that?
It's butter and lemon, and I think broccoli raw, garlic, and the pasta.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Parmesan.
Yeah, that's a great one, isn't it?
And it's so delicious, so simple, and so.
Yeah, good. That's great. Yeah, I make that one too.
Okay.
I have to make that over the holiday. I like that you're suggesting recipes from my book that I should make.
A lot of people are asking for your favorite latke recipe.
Oh, where do I have one? I think I have, well, actually in this book, I have there's a very famous caterer in Malibu whose name is Jennifer Naylor. And I went to visit who you know, Nancy Meyer.
Oh,
and
yes.
Nancy had Jennifer send over the most delicious potato pancake I've ever had. And what it is a large potato pancake that she puts creme fraiche with herb creme fraiche and smoked salmon on the top. And you can reheat it in the oven and then put the salmon and creme fraiche on. And I thought, this is so good that I went home and made it. And it's in Modern Comfort Food. So and you cut it up in pieces and everybody takes a wedge of it.
Oh,
so that's a great potato pancake.
Your aforementioned caviar is really good on latkes with a little dollop of creme fraiche.
Caviar is good on anything.
I have my newsletter, and I should mention that tomorrow, if you guys want to sign up, it's katiecouric.com. And tomorrow we're featuring 12 different latke recipes from the New York Times.
Oh, seriously?
So I think it's potato latkes and all kinds of latkes look delicious. And I think we're going to try to make some latkes while we're here. Why not?
That's
right?
Great. Why not? Absolutely. I'm not sure, but I think in Cook Like a Pro, I have one that's both mashed potatoes and grated potatoes together, and they're really good.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what you can do with latkes? You can cook them in a waffle iron.
Really?
Yeah. Try it. Try one of those in a waffle iron. And what you end up with is you end up with really crispy outside and creamy inside.
That sounds yummy.
Yeah,
Yum.
that's great.
Someone asked if Jeffrey ever cooks for you, Ina.
He makes really good coffee. And his idea of doing the dishes is putting everything in the sink.
Dishes too. I always let them soak.
Yeah, that's right. Jeffrey lets them soak. I'm glad the two of you aren't married to each other. You'd be having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner.
Our kitchen would be a wreck. Someone asked if you hate doing dishes. Do you?
Do I hate doing dishes? No, every once in a while I get fed up because I have 2 dishwashers at the barn. Then I go home and there are 2 dishwashers at the kitchen in the house. And it seems like everywhere I go, there's a dishwasher that needs to be unloaded. But basically, I don't mind.
My mother-in-law recommended rubber gloves, and I have to say they've made such a difference. It's so much, it's more fun to wash dishes when you have rubber gloves on.
Are they like opera length?
No, yellow gloves, and I don't know, it doesn't dry out. My skin is so dry. I just got some fires because I get terrible exposure, but that's a whole
Because it's so dry.
Okay.
That's for another time, Katie.
This is a good question, Ina. What is your most memorable dinner party fail?
Fail? Oh, I had a really bad dinner party when Jeffrey and I first got married. So I was about 20, and Jeffrey was in the military, and he was a Green Beret and a paratrooper. I mean, he doesn't do anything halfway. And and I thought, we knew about 20 people because we hadn't been there very long. And I thought, well, I'll just invite all of them, and I'll make an omelet for each person.
Oh, God.
That was the worst idea I've ever had. So the entire time people are sitting in the living room and nobody's talking to each other. And I'm in the kitchen making 1 omelet at a time. I think it took
bullets.
I was like, I have to say, it took me like a year to give another party because I thought, oh, this is the worst.
Someone needs some ideas. They live in Alaska. Hi, Alaska. I feel like I should have another drink, but as someone just mentioned, I was a little tipsy. I think I might be. So
you dipped down that, I have to admit. Was somebody drinking your drink, or is that you?
Everybody settle down. I've got it. My pot. Someone wants to know ideas on how to cook halibut. They live in Alaska.
I have just the recipe because I actually have a recipe in my new book that has Ritz cracker crumbs. I mean, it's like an old-fashioned idea updated. So it's pieces of halibut, and then I made it Ritz cracker crumb and panko. How's that for old-fashioned and new? Uh-oh, Katie. We're going to kiss her goodnight now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pour that much, everyone.
It just happened. I know how that does. So what? And then you put the Ritz crackers crushed up and panko crumbs, Japanese bread flakes, and you mix them up with fresh herbs. It's in Modern Comfort Food. And then you make a sauce with white wine. You pour white wine and lemon juice on it, and you bake it. And the crumbs get into the sauce and thicken it. And it's crispy on the top. The halibut is perfectly cooked. And it takes, I don't know, it just takes minutes to cook.
So wait, you bake it, Ina?
And you bake it, yeah.
That sounds delicious. By the way, I made really good salmon the other night.
Yeah.
Salmon, and it's so easy. I put a layer of mayonnaise. I like mayonnaise. Some people, and I sprinkled it with capers, and then I baked it at like 350 or 400 for 10 minutes, and it was so delicious.
Isn't that great? Mayonnaise is really basically oil and a little bit of egg. So there's no reason why you can't do a sauce like that. And it keeps it moist, and you undercook it so it's perfectly cooked, right?
Yeah, and I don't like it when it's kind of raw in the middle, so I like it cooked through. John likes his kind of rare, but Ina the other night, and I think you have to really get good salmon, but he used grapeseed oil, which can, take a higher temperature, and heated up the grapeseed oil and just seared it on both sides, so it was super crispy on both sides.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. It was so.
Oh, that's great. You got a good one there, Katie.
I know. I do. I feel so lucky. Okay, the question, we're almost done. Ina, I'm sorry. Thank you for being.
I'm having a ball. I don't want to be done.
Well, I'm having a ball.
Somebody just wanted to know what you were drinking.
What food can you not stand?
Cilantro. It's the only thing.
Oh,
Cilantro
I
and
know
like
that.
innards. I don't like innards. Like I need to know
But
what it is I'm eating before
well,
I eat it.
I mean, do you like fruitcake, for example?
Oh, I probably wouldn't go out of my way, but I have to say, and since it's the season, I have a recipe in one of the books. I can't remember which one for fruitcake cookies that are so delicious. They're made with like dried figs and dried fruit. It's not
Yeah.
like that sweet, sickeningly sweet thing. And actually, I had a funny story about this. Did you know Lee Bailey?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I mean, I
He
knew.
was he was a cookbook author. He wrote wonderful cookbooks and the true Southern gentleman. And one year when I had Barefoot Contessa, he called me and he said, can you make some fruitcake cookies? He had a shop at Saks and he wanted to offer something for the Christmas catalog. And I'm thinking, it's the middle of the winter. We have nothing to do. I said, absolutely, we can make fruitcake cookies. He said, I'll need 1,000 tins. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot of fruitcake cookies. And I was like calling people that I knew, I was dragging people in from the street. Can you bake? Come on in. Can you chop? Yeah, you're hired. I ordered 1,000 tins. I ordered all the ingredients. I got everybody all lined up to start making fruitcake cookies. And then we're halfway through and we're just about ready to ship them out. And he goes, I don't think I need 1,000 tins. I think I need 500.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
like, okay, you're fired. You're fired. I was like, this was crazy. I had tins like piled high to the ceiling. And then about a week later, he called. He said, we need 2,000. It was like, but in the end, he gave me his fruitcake cookie recipe, which is in one of my books. And it's great. It's just great.
My sister used to sell fruitcakes for her service club in high school, Claxton fruitcake.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're from Georgia. And they were just these bricks, and they were sort of nasty. I'm not going to lie, but I have to sell for her.
I think, let's just say fruitcake is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Right?
A little slice or two is kind of nice at Christmas time. Okay, someone wanted to know, do you remember the first Christmas present you got for Jeffrey? And do the two of you still exchange gifts?
Well, we don't celebrate Christmas, so I don't remember a Christmas gift that I gave him.
What
And
about?
I always think that Hanukkah is kind of, it's like for children. So we never really exchange gifts. And Jeffrey hates gifts. This is a little known subject. He hates gifts. So I used to buy him these, I'd go out and buy him a car or something. It would just drive him crazy. I bought him a Fiat convertible, and when I was in Washington, I lived in the government. When I worked in the government, and I said to him, it was his birthday, and he was oblivious. And I said to him, I handed him the keys to the car. I said, oh no, I handed him the ticket to the garage, and I said, could you just go get the car, and I'll meet you downstairs. And he went downstairs, and there was a Fiat convertible. He was like, this isn't my car. I was like, yeah, it actually is. So that's the kind of present I give Jeffrey. But he gave me a great gift once. It was a trip to Europe, to London, Provence, and Rome, with a garden tour at each place, a tour of private gardens at each place. He nailed that one. That was an amazing trip. So that was a good one.
Couple. What do you think the secret is to a happy marriage, Ina?
That each person feels that they're the most important thing in the world to the other person. It's really pretty simple. And I heard Tony Robbins say that, and I thought, wow, he really kind of got that. That Jeffrey could be in China, he could be working in, Peru, as he has for a long time, or he's in New Haven. But if anything happens with me, I know that he'll drop everything and come home immediately. And we just feel connected. No matter, I think that if you feel connected to someone, it gives you more freedom. It gives you freedom to do what you need to, do whatever you want to do with their support. And so what do you think it is?
Are there times when you have felt less connected, that you thought, oh, I need to fix this, and I need to
He's pretty consistent. He's pretty good. He texts me all the time. We had this funny thing. He sent me a text, but it unfortunately went to some woman in California. It was some
sex. I hope he didn't.
It wasn't sex, but it was close. So some woman that he knew in California, businesswoman that he knew in California, got the text, and immediately, of course, you realize it's a mistake. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That was meant for my wife." So she, a little jealous, I think, showed it to her husband and said, "Look at the text that Jeffrey sends to his wife." And he goes, "Oh, nobody sends those texts to their wives." He goes, "That was for his girlfriend," but he was embarrassed to tell you.
That's by the way. He didn't know that it was you, did she?
Yeah, she knew it was me. I'm sure she did.
That is so
I
funny.
assume she did anyway.
You're like, you can go the tabloids with,
Exactly.
Me text to I know. Someone,
But I love that he said, "Nobody sends those texts to their wives." I'm like, "Yeah, they do."
generous.
Wait, you guys were
Wait.
really talking.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Someone wants to know if you've listened to the new Taylor Swift album yet.
Of course I have. I'm a major Taylor Swift fan. Isn't she unbelievable? She's so smart. And what is extraordinary about her is she keeps her own counsel. She knows exactly what she wants to do. Her mother is her manager. And I'm sure she gets ideas and works with a lot of people, but she knows exactly she makes the decision. And I'm sure there must be a million people trying to pull her off her game or get her to do something else. And she knows just what she wants to do. And that's why it comes out the way it does.
You're right. She's always for herself, and her mom is such a doll. And I just want to say, I hope she's doing well health-wise.
I do too. Yeah.
I interviewed her once, and she sang "I Had the Best Day," which she wrote for her mom, which is such a sweet song. And she sang it to her mom, and it was so moving. It made me cry because they're so close and really sweet. Okay.
And Taylor writes from her own experience, which you feel.
Yeah.
You just know, shake it up, shake it off is her own experience.
Yeah.
And we all, she said something that really just stunned me. I took my whole team and we went to one of her concerts, and she was on the stage and talking to 60,000, mostly young girls in the audience. And she said, this was between songs. She was just talking to the audience. And she said, we all are upset about what's said about us on the internet. But the truth is, what we tell ourselves about ourselves is so much worse. And I thought, wow, I'm not a teenage girl, but I really got it. I thought it was such a smart thing to say, to really check ourselves, to stop saying those things to ourselves, because it's detrimental.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
And I think she was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, how she got so wise, I don't know, but she really is. And she really connects with what people are thinking.
So Carrie is here, my daughter, and Adriana, my assistant slash other daughter, because she's been with me in March, and Ellie, and Ellie's and Ellie, and all talking about the new Taylor Swift album. And what song is Ellie? The album Evermore, but Ellie's obsessed with one of the songs.
I don't know.
Oh, anyway, but they've been all discussing it, and she's so talented. I'm so happy for her, and I just wish her all the best. Okay.
I do too. Totally.
Okay. Two more. What do you eat when you don't feel like cooking?
A bowl of oatmeal.
Really?
That's my favorite. It's what I have for breakfast every morning.
It helps you sleep, doesn't it?
If I don't feel like cooking or I have too much work to do and I want something that's really satisfying, either soup, I always have soup in the freezer. I make big pots of soup and put a lot of it away, or a bowl of oatmeal. Just something warm and satisfying like that. What do you eat when you don't feel like cooking? Which is always, right?
Yeah. And
She just asked me.
wait, what?
She just asked you.
What, me? What do I like to eat?
What do you eat when you don't feel like cooking? I said, which is always.
Oh, no, I like to cook actually, but I like sort of simple. I love cooking in the summer, Ina, because I feel like it's so much easier to cook with really fresh produce that like I love tomatoes. I love to just make tomato and really good mozzarella. I love to make a caprese salad with delicious basil from my garden.
Yeah.
just grill something. I like super easy, simple food. I find it a little more challenging to cook in the winter because you
Because
don't,
things require cooking.
yeah, and you can't go to
Yeah.
up stuff and kind of chop it up and make it delicious. But I think I know it's not really good for you, but I actually love cereal. And I, because of my cereal at night, if she did
Yeah.
something, and I happen to actually, I love cereal. And I think it's like eating, just like putting Domino sugar in a bowl, but
But sometimes you just have to have it.
I
I was talking to Anderson Cooper last night. We did a digital show of his, and I said, what makes you feel comfortable? What do you like to eat?" And he said, he said, "I have the palate of a 5-year-old. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich last night for dinner." I thought, good for him. That's just great. I mean, sometimes that's what you just need.
we eat a lot of peanut butter around here too.
Well, it's good for you. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I like peanut butter and bananas, peanut butter and apples, peanut butter on a piece of whole wheat toast. I love peanut butter. Hey, do you ever go to Carissa's? We love Carissa.
Love. I've been going there since they first opened. I love that restaurant, specialty food store, bakery. Love it. Yeah.
We love their whole wheat bread,
Yeah.
which is so delicious, just toasted with peanut butter. And
Yeah.
So I
Oh, good. Such a great restaurant.
I love it. And Carissa's so great. All right, final question, unless we get something good from our folks who are us. What are you most grateful for this season?
Jeffrey. It's just, I couldn't make it through this without him. And he's like a rock. He's just always there when when I'm having a good day, he's happy for me. When I'm in a rabbit hole, he's there to pull me out of it. I'm so grateful to have him in my bunker. And in a way, I always tease him. I think he's going to look back on these days in the pandemic as the good old days, because he didn't have to go to New Haven. He teaches his classes by Zoom, and he's home for dinner every night, which is just heaven. It's just, I've got a buddy all the time. Where it used to be that he would have to leave on Monday and come back on Friday, and now he's here all the time. So I think I'm most grateful.
I was going to say it must be so nice for you all to spend so much time together.
Yeah.
Clearly are crazy about each other. I know people are really enjoying their spouses during the pandemic, or they're getting divorced.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody said good marriages have gotten better and bad marriages have gotten worse.
Yeah.
I think that's really true.
Well, I think I'm
What are you grateful for, Katie?
Well, I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful that, with so much suffering and pain and struggling, that I feel very, very blessed. I'm grateful that my daughter Carrie and I have been able to be together. And I'm actually weirdly grateful for technology, because technology can actually be difficult and be a source of distraction and take you
fantastic
out of the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think technology has actually made us feel part of a community, like the fact that we do this and that people can enjoy, hearing from you, Ina, and talking to you and seeing us have fun together. I think it's been I think about what would have happened if this pandemic, as terrible as it has been and has as much suffering as it's caused. Think about it, if it had happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We didn't have the ability to have FaceTime, or we couldn't do Zoom meetings, or we couldn't do conversations like this. I think it would have been so much harder. So I really appreciate
that's really smart.
Bringing us together in a way.
When you think about the 1917 flu, did they have radio? Maybe they had radio, but they didn't have TV. I mean, it's certainly not streaming. I mean, it's extraordinary how different our lives are, and how different it would be if we barely had electricity, let alone of social media and all of this. I totally agree with you. And that's been really nice for me, because although I'm here working on my own, my assistants work in their own houses, and we meet outside in the morning, but I'm still here by myself. I'm so grateful that I can talk to you. I had a wonderful conversation with John Grisham this week. I had a conversation with Anderson Cooper. I mean, it's just, you just get to meet people and talk to them in a way that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And I find these conversations remarkably more intimate than a stage interview. Like when you and I are on a stage, you know, we do a formal interview together and there are 3,000 people in the audience. But the one that I did with Jennifer Garner in LA, there was somebody from every state in the union. There's every state in the United States joined that conversation. They didn't have to get on a plane. They could just join it and be there. And Jennifer and I had a great time, and it was weirdly kind of like more intimate than it would be if we were sitting on a stage together. So I really like that.
I agree. And just the other thing that I really appreciate is, you know, so many women, when they have children, are kind of marginalized and pushed out of the workplace and not valued as much as they should be. And I think this has destigmatized working from home.
Oh, isn't that interesting? That's smart. Yeah.
People can actually be incredibly productive from home, and there's no reason why you can't, you know, have a family and also work from home and, you know, decide sort of what is the right mix for you. So I think in a way that's been really, really helpful. And I think this has accelerated a lot of pre-existing trends.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are really good. And so I think that they'll continue to stick after we come up, you know, after we come out of this whole period of time.
I think there's one other thing too, is that we've really come to understand that being in the same place with someone has some heart benefit that is different from being in social media. So when we've been, you know, in the beginning, Jeffrey and I did Zoom cocktails with friends and it was great, but there was something like really missing. And then when we finally were able to go outside and have cocktails with somebody outside, I appreciated it so much. Being in the same place with somebody has, I don't know what it is, but you know, my yoga teacher would say it's the chakras. It's like there's something that is transmitted that's above and beyond just seeing somebody and talking to them.
No,
and we value that now more than ever.
That fellowship of being right in someone's
physically in their space, yeah.
For that, but I think it'll open up a lot of flexibility for people to do it the way that suits them, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Someone is saying support your local restaurants. I could not agree more.
Couldn't agree more.
Restaurants are really suffering, and a lot of them are going out of business. So do what you can to support the local restaurants.
Yeah.
It's so fun, Ina.
So fun to talk to you, always. Yeah. We had such a good time together.
I'm going to cut myself off because I'm not a big...
Mona, can you take that away from Katie?
I'm going to drink this. Anyway, Ina, I know everybody joins me in wishing you the happiest of holidays.
Thank you. And they join me. What?
I wanted to mention one thing because someone said support your local food banks. That is so important. I'm going to be actually doing something with food banks out here on Long Island. Food banks are really suffering. The demand for food and for the food
is extraordinary.
Really skyrocketed. So anything you all can do to support your local food banks, I'm going to be supporting mine, and I'm going to be doing a little video with some of the incredible volunteers who are working at the food banks. That's something you really do to make people's holidays much happier.
That's great.
Otherwise.
That's great. Call me and I'll do something with you. That'd be great.
Love that, Ina.
And you know, we live in East Hampton, and you think who could possibly need a food bank in East Hampton? And yet there's a series of churches here that all get together. There are 14 churches that get together and feed people that can't feed themselves, one every 2 weeks. And I see cars lined up at the church right here. And you think, you know, there are people that are struggling everywhere.
Oh my God.
So it's really important.
Absolutely.
That's great. Good for you. That's really fabulous.
I think one of the things I'm grateful for is all the acts of kindness that I've witnessed during this time, and continue to support our frontline healthcare workers by being safe and being smart, support our local food banks, our local charities. There's so many places that we need to support because many of us are so blessed. So let's all think of those people. That's the true spirit of the holiday season.
Truly. Absolutely perfect.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you, Katie. So, love you.
Thank
So good to see you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
If you guys like what you see, subscribe right here.